Hello again, Struckwap. Welcome back to another stream. Today I will be continuing yesterday's leveling up of my Butt Seeker's uppercut forge build. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that setup. At least I was enjoying it yesterday. We'll see how I will enjoy it later on when I finish leveling it up. So let's just go in and continue where we left off. I've not spent a single minute after yesterday's stream playing this specific build, so it should be pretty fresh. Let's see, what did I do last time? I need to go to Boat Town. Before that, I'm gonna quickly resupply my potions, make sure we're ready. Okay, I've got 9 respectacles, might as well use them, you never know. I'm definitely gonna need some respectacles for this build later on when I make the build video. Eventually I'm gonna make some changes and then maybe make another build with the same hero. So it's always nice to have some extra respectacles. And I've just uploaded my summary of the patch notes, where I went over every single patch note, almost every single, except the things that are too in-depth to to fit in a video to make it reasonably long. So it ended up becoming 40 minutes. I still decided to keep it as a single video instead of splitting it up. And I just put a TLDR part at the beginning for those who just want the TLDR, and hopefully that's enough. Ah shit, they shocked my cyclone. When the cyclone is shocked, let's see, I'm gonna grab this and then go to Boat Town. I'm pretty decent level for the content I'm doing. I'm doing probably level 40 content at level 39. Yeah, level 40 content in Boat Town, which is pretty decent. Not out leveled by much, so I've not been rushing too much, although I have been trying to rush whenever I can. And I've also noticed how the phase beasts die quicker. I was wondering if there was something like that, and I did check that there was something like that in the patch notes. And I've been waiting for such a change for a while. Phase beasts now are a little bit more appealing to me. It's something to do. Yeah, this this what should I call it? Steam powered uppercut is pretty decent now after they reworked it. Can't wait to test this build in endgame with some decent gear. Mostly the defenses, that's mostly what I'm gonna need. Let's do this dungeon, by the way. Let's do this phase beast. They've added all sorts of different bosses in the phase beast, so it's not just the big bosses, which is pretty fun, knowing you have some variety in those. Nice. Love it when it keeps giving me respectacles while leveling up. The more respectacles I get while leveling up, the better it is for me later on, when I want to make multiple builds out of a single hero. Okay. keep moving. What was the quest to find Higgs? Well, Higgs is nowhere to be found. It should be somewhere here, near that boss. He moved in the last moment. How did he survive? Alright, there we go. We're 40 now. Let's check where Higgs is. I guess maybe I can choose the helmet. Started getting some wife bounce scrolls, not bad. 586. You can keep that as a spare, and this is as a main. No longer need this. That's a lot of electric defense. This is a lot of regular defense, but I'm gonna break the set if I use it. This one, Relic Energy Generation. It's less than my current one, so I guess it's just not worth using it. White Vault's Cavebreaker, 848. Yeah, I'm not loving Frost Nova. Seems very underwhelming to me, so I'll switch to something else. Where did my old shield go? Oh, don't tell me I removed my old shield. And here I'm probably gonna put the Dark Power Shoulders for now. Now I've got a new skill point. So we've got vent damage. Next we're moving on to the relic stuff. I think I've got everything I need here. 34 points in Brow, 12 points into Barrage. We've got everything we need here. At best maybe I can get Heat Generation, but I don't think I need it, not when I'm using the Mountain King wheel. So yeah, next is maxing out Blood Seekers. That would put me at 57, and then I'm gonna have 13 more points, which I can probably put 9 points here and 4 points here, or maybe I can put points into Rupture and Bloodletter. That's 10 points, and then 2 points here, 1 point here. Maybe we'll see. I'm still figuring out what I would want in the end. I just know that that's the skills I want to use with maybe using Dark Powered Shoulders, but I need to do it like this. I don't want Vent Core Launch, I want this thing here. This one is the optional thing, the thing that can be anything. It could be Skittering Shoulders, it could be the skill from the Ember Boots, from the Ancient Ember Boots. That's like a battery or whatever it was called. Gear would decide how I go. in the end with this build. Need to go to Echo Landing first. But yeah, what gear I get when I start farming would decide one of the things. Winter Weave set would be super good for a build like this though.
The mad scientist Shriekbeak is hacking them together to create pawns for the Voltura army. Rescue any remaining townsfolk, and then take care of Shriekbeak.
Alright, Shriekbeak time. Time to get another, what was it called? Stormblade. Actually, it's still too early for Shriekbeak. First the power line, then Shriekbeak.
I wonder if the Nethermen care about their soldiers. They send us so many. They come spilling through the rifts by the thousands, and still there seems to be no shortage. How much of their eagerness is a desire for what we have here? And how much do they just
And I've noticed that they made the Disc Mage passive that gives you cooldown to Disc Mage skills, give you cooldown to other things, but they didn't make it for non-Disc Mage classes. And that's a little bit imbalanced if you make it only for one class and not for the others. Maybe they didn't have time to squeeze it into this patch, such a mechanic for the other classes, or maybe it wasn't in the patch notes. I need to check it. I need to check if the cooldown of this... It doesn't seem reduced, but maybe because I don't have a skill point in it. I need to check on a Disc Mage exactly what gets reduced by 10%. Exactly which cooldown gets reduced by 10%. We're 41 now. I'm gonna start investing into Bloodseekers first, before anything else, from now on. Okay, let's see here. Here, there's gotta be one more NPC somewhere. Oh no, never mind. Just the Electro, whatever its name is. Converter. Shouldn't the converter be near the NPCs, or did they move it again? Once I had all NPCs and the converter at the exact same place. I'm wondering if that has changed now. Most likely they changed it. See, that's where Zig is. That should be the converter here. And Brefwaben says hello, Brefwaben. Welcome to the stream. Nice seeing you. time for Shriekbeak. Let's make Shriekbeak shriek in agony. Okay, there we go. But Seekers tier 1 already. Stop for those, that's some XP that you're missing. Might as well get some XP while I'm in this dead end. I like how it ends up becoming kind of a ranged skill, the uppercut with that sword in the legendary. It's not like a shooting range skill, but still has some nice reach. Oh, I need to defeat Netherrim. Oh shit, it's this level with the Netherrim. Oh, I have to go back and retrace my steps and make sure I'm not missing a single Netherrim. There's probably 2 of them spawning here. There's one. Now I'm missing 2 Netherrims somewhere. Maybe here? No. I think I know where I'm missing the Netherrim. This little part of the map I missed over here. Can move to Shriekbeak's laboratory now. Come on, come on.
You can't cast that here.
Okay, Shriek big then.
A new quest. You are overburdened.
Anything worth keeping? This thing. Oh, and this thing. Oh, and 3 levels to Bloodseekers. Yeah, I'm liking this. Additional bolts on shock, but that's for the cannon. Okay, let's use a scroll here. Get our DPS better. Getting close to finishing Act 3. A little bit left. Final few quests for this act. Breathhaven says the shockwave you're doing. Oh yeah, it's my doing. It's not like a shockwave, but do you mean the punches coming from the ground, the uppercuts? And he's saying that Bloodseekers is his favorite skill. It's a very fun skill. Honestly, all those aura skills of all the relics are very good. And Parker says, hello, been using your Quas build guides on Chaosbane, thank you. It's a bad time for ARPGs, no good solid ARPGs around. I kind of agree when it comes to no good 100% solid, but there are still some decent ones that can provide you some entertainment. Every game in the genre right now has its cons and pros. And it's just a matter of finding the one with the majority of pros and minority of cons for your personal taste. Some people prefer games like Chaosbane, others prefer games like Torchlight, others prefer games like Last Epoch. So I guess it's just a matter of preference again. But yeah, welcome to my channel. Parker says right now, would you recommend Torchlight 3 or Wolsen to be in a good spot, good upcoming dev progression? When it comes to dev progression, Torchlight 3 is in a much better spot because the developers communicate with us more and update more regularly, not one patch every 10 months. Definitely they're updating better, but Wolsen and Torchlight are like comparing coffee to Coca-Cola or to Pepsi. They have similarities, they both have caffeine, they both are non-alcoholic, but one of them is fizzy, the other one isn't. And there's a lot of differences in Wolsen and Torchlight 3, so they're just different. They're different. They're different, they're developed in a different way, and they're aimed towards slightly different spectrums of the genre. See, Torchlight 3 is something you can maybe play with if you have little brothers, sisters, if you have kids with your kids, if you have grandchildren with your grandchildren, whereas Wolsen is kind of like an 18 plus game, or 16 plus at least. It's more gory, it's more, it's darker, it's grimmer. Whereas Torchlight has a little bit more humor. Wolsen has much better story, but Wolsen is much grindier. If you want to respec in Wolsen, you have to grind more, and if you want to level up new skills, you have to grind a lot to level those skills to max level, and getting max level in Wolsen is unreasonably difficult as well. So in general, if you want grinding, Wolsen is your bet. If you don't like grinding as much and you want more freedom and you wanna just mess around with builds, Torchlight 3 is better for theory crafting and messing around with builds. Wolsen has a lot of builds, but they still don't feel as balanced to me, and some builds are still stronger than others, and some passives are still passives you kind of want in your build 90% of the time, if not 100.
You have gained a level.
In Torchlight 3, there are also some things you want in your build for every hero, every time you take it. But that's just on that specific hero, regardless of what subclass you take. Like for example, on a Rail Master, you have a passive that gives you 65% extra damage to sword, stunt, or binded targets, which is obviously something you want on every build, because you have ways to swow, not just from the class but from items as well, and you're just missing out on the DPS if you don't take it. But I don't want to recommend a game and then people telling me it's not good, I don't like it. So it's just a matter of what someone prefers. Some people again would prefer games like Torchlight, others would prefer games that are more like Chaos Bane or like Wolsen. So people need to know what's good and what's bad about the game, not just the good things, I guess, before making a decision. I personally am done with Wolsen. I gave it the last chance. I was waiting to see what this update would be, the bot trail, but bot trail was pretty disappointing for something they spent 10 months working on after the game launched. Not giving us a single endgame activity for 10 months. It was a joke. They just gave us a boring leak mechanic with the hunts, and that was it. And Wolsen needed new endgame activities, much more than boring mechanics like the hunt that can be attached to any type of content. Because right now in Wolsen all you have is expeditions and untainted expeditions, which is basically the same content with a slightly different paint job. And it gets boring doing the same type of content. Torchlight 3 launched in October and still has just one type of endgame content, but it also has a secret area, which I can't spoil to others how and what it is, and I've actually not spoiled it for myself. I've never been in the secret area. I know how to access it, but I'm not gonna access it until it has been discovered by the public, so I can stream myself accessing that area. But Torchlight 3 only had like what, between October and November and December, that's like 2 months since the game launched, since middle of October. 2 months. 2 months, and the game already gave us 2 big patches for those 2 months. And it's getting improved much quicker and at a much better pace. And they're really listening to feedback in this game when it comes to development. I mean, just consider things like NOLT, N-O-L-T, November Oscar Lima Tango. Consider things like NOLT, which is basically a support center where you can report bugs and glitches and upvote and downvote certain tickets. So you can even give feedback. For example, let's say you want a certain feature added into the game, you have that idea, and you can go on Note and do that and see what people like and dislike. I think every single game needs something like this, regardless of the genre. I think every single game could benefit from Note, where they can see what the community wants and what the community requests as new features or as patches, as bug fixes for patches, etc. Parker says, Chaos Bane, for example, is actually bad, but I'm still grinding legend ranks cause there's nothing better to do. And he says he's installing Torchlight 3. Well, Chaos Bane is mediocre. It's not a bad game, but it's not a great game either. That's what Chaos Bane is. See, if Chaos Bane had a big community, a lot of people playing it, and if they reworked the invasions properly, you would have had some things to do there. If they added a system for rerolling and the affixes in Chaos Bane, that would have given people something to do with shitty green items they don't need with bad rolls. You could either save them and reroll them, or turn them into materials and use them to reroll another item. And it would help with min-maxing, but Chaos Bane I mean, if Chaosbane had a note, NOLT, the thing I linked for Torchlight 3, if Chaosbane had this thing and actually suggested to the community manager to pass it along the dev team to consider adding a note, it would be much better for them, so they can see what the community wants and get some help in regards to ideas, for future updates, what to add into the game. Because I think Note is a great tool for developers, especially for small studios out there. The community can give amazing ideas sometimes, and developers should take that into consideration. Unstable war arm. I obviously need that. Combo Gobu guards. I'd rather keep the Cyclone mode stuff. And the Raging Beater is another venter and generates steam now. Not only vents heat, but generates steam while venting. So that's something that could really help you on Steam builds to keep spending more often. There are other games out there in development in the genre, but they had rough early access phases. For example, there's a sci-fi one called, what was it called? Q Shot was it? What was it? Let me remember what it was called. Q Squad. Was it Q Squad? Yeah, there's Q Squad, and Q Squad had a lot of potential. But apparently, from what I'm hearing, I've not played it myself, from what I'm hearing from people who played it, the game died pretty quickly after starting early access because, well, there wasn't much to do, and if there's no funds flooding in, I'm kind of worried about the future of Kill Squad, but it's a game that has a ton of potential, because there aren't many sci-fi hack and slash isometric wooters out there. There's Inquisitor Martyr, which I'm terribly disappointed from. Even after all the updates, it's still pretty boring, and they kind of ruined the mages in the game as a class. But they're just that I know of. Inquisitor Martyr, and that's pretty much it from the modern sci-fi isometric hack and slash wooters. And Q Squad has a potential if done right, if they get their priorities straight and add decent activities for the end game, decent amount of content and good itemization. I mean that's two of the most important things in a game like this is itemization. What drives people to play those games is the wood and the build diversity. And the end game, you need a decent amount of end game activities, ideally to launch with more than just one. Torchlight 3 launch with just one end game activity, 1.5, let's call it 1.5 because Mapworks is kind of the same as the Fuzzier, just without the affixes. And that wasn't a great thing to launch with just the Fuzzier and Mapworks. When during the alpha we were telling them the game better not launch with just Mapworks, and then they changed the Mapworks and make the Fuzzier what the old Mapworks was with a little bit of changes, and then you just have Mapworks and Fuzzier, which is practically the same thing, and obviously many people quit Torchlight 3 within the first month or 3 weeks of launch because of lack of things to do other than the Fuzzier. So I'm really hoping 2021 would be the year when they bring us at least 2 new endgame activities by the end of 2021 to do in Torchlight 3. There's many ways you can do endgame activities. You can see games like Grim Dawn, like Path of Exile, that have had a great success with adding different activities, like survival modes, nemesis systems, in Grim Dawn for example, roguelike dungeons that are always fixed design and always have fixed layouts and rewards and bosses, such as the roguelike dungeons like Bastion of Chaos, Steps of Torment. Things like those are not bad. Things like the Crucible in Grim Dawn, definitely something that would be nice if done decently. Things like, for example, in Path of Exile, I really like the Delve as a system. It's very interesting, it's something different, it's like a fucking paywall mode with checkpoints and things like that. So it definitely is good. And there's ways you can do similar things, not exactly one-to-one verbatim copies of those things I mentioned, but there's ways to adapt the game and to have similar endgame activities in Torchlight 3 and for it to make sense. I'm against copying ideas and redoing things that others have done unless it makes sense in the game. I mean, if it makes sense to copy a certain feature from another game, okay, sure. But if it doesn't make sense and you're just copying it for the sake of having something that others do, definitely not a fan of that. Let's see, Mountain King Gauntlets finally upgrade of my level 12 item. And duration to power projection pretty decent. I'm gonna save the other one for well, for outs, for when leveling other forged heroes. 2 skill levels to drain. I don't use drain on this build. This is actually my first non-drain build. Normally drain is something I never miss out on, but I wanted to make a non-drain build, and it's about time to make something without drain. But drain is my favorite blood drinker skill. It's just so fun. And they mentioned something about the tier 3 bonus of drain being broken and fixed. Not sure whether it was doing more damage or less damage before, but I can't wait to find out later when I switch. I'm first gonna make a Bloodseeker's build, and then I'm gonna switch to the successor of my Punchbot Drainawad, which would be it's probably gonna be Punchbot Drainawad 2.0, which is a build that can be played either as a spin to win or as bunches of punches. The same goes for this build. This build, if you don't like Cyclone mode, you can play it with Rapid Strike. They're kind of one or the other, doesn't matter. Both are good. Parker says he's seen some games with amazing deaf public interaction done even without any websites. For example, Hades. They have turned out to be great success. Yeah, Hades is a great example of what was the name? A roguelike game, or roguelite, whatever the proper term to describe it is. It's not something with permanent progression. It's a permadeath game. Yet it has a lot of success because well, it's got good systems in it, and there's the thrill. There's the thrill in that game. Breathwaben says, I found that it takes too long time to get blood drain. Felt more efficient with the blood seekers. What do you mean blood drain? You mean drain? Drain is pretty decent. With the right build, you can get drain activated pretty often. Drain is good for AoEs and things like that. And you can use Seekers and Drain. You can use Seekers to make Drain stronger. And still be able to get a bunch of Drain. You just need to stack Relic Energy Charge. Stacking Relic Energy Charge from this one here and from items would let you use Drain pretty decently. So you can activate Seekers, which buffs the damage of everything, including Drain, and then do Drain 1 or 2 times for a quick burst of damage. And it is good. It is good. It just requires slightly different way of approaching things. See, with Blood Seekers, you have this buff that lasts for a long time, and you can make it last forever. Well, not forever, but you can make it last so long that it's just silly how overpowered it becomes if you use duration affixes on those aura skills like Cloak of Flames, Localized Storm, Bloodseekers, Miasma, etc. So those duration affixes are super strong on builds that utilize those things. If you stack cost reduction, if you stack energy generation, it's pretty decent for any build. You have right now plus from skills. You might have take a look at it again. Yeah, keep in mind if you go Drain, it's better to go all in. All in on Drain, max it out to level 10, and then maybe get Bloodseekers to level 6 at least, or level 10 Bloodseekers if you can afford the skill points, the sacrifices. But normally when I go Drain, I don't max out Bloodseekers. I go for like tier 2. Tier 2 Bloodseekers with tier 3 Drain. That's what I do on my Drain builds. This one is not gonna be a Drain build, and it's gonna be Bloodseekers with Rupture and Bloodletter and Dance of Death and maybe a point into Energizer. I'm not even gonna max out Dance of Death. I'm probably gonna get just tier 1 Dance of Death. It's not something I'm gonna rely on heavily. But again, builds are flexible. The last 10-20 points in a certain build are very flexible and are up to personal preference. For example, some people might not want 25% vent skills damage. If you find that you don't need that extra damage for Vortex Bomb, then definitely you don't need to put 4 points into Cold Launch. If you find that you don't need Vortex Bomb to do much damage, you can probably only take tier 1 for the armor or up to tier 2 for the damage reduction. If you're using more relic skills for damage, you might invest more points into Ramming Robot. If you don't need this cooldown for a Vortex Bomb, you could completely ignore putting points into this. And this one should actually reduce the cooldown of Steam Powered Uppercut. I need to make a ticket for this. This 10% should apply to Steam Powered Uppercut and make it from 4 to 3.6 seconds. The same way Entropy's cooldown gets reduced by the one of the Dusk Mage, the equivalent to the Dark Spears tier 2. So when an item converts a skill without a cooldown to a skill with cooldown, things that reduce cooldowns of such skills should give it that bonus. Oh yeah, I wanted to do this. This hatch. See, this duration to Bloodseekers on my hatch, level 36 one, is the one I was talking about. That's super strong and good. The thing with bot seekers is it's not every seeker missile hits enemies. It's kind of broken right now. Some of them, I think 1/3 or half of them ignore enemies and just don't hit anything and are just flying around aimlessly. Level 45, okay. I have 4 bonus levels. I can actually remove 1 point and still get max level bot seekers. But I'm not relying on those bonus levels for later. I'm not sure why I have 4 bonus points in it. This one, oh, this one, because of the because of the wife bound, it became from +3 to +4 levels. Not sure if that's intended, but okay. Actually pretty strong, +4 to a certain skill as a single affix. Gives you 1 extra tier 2 bonus worth in your setup. I'm not gonna rely on it, so I'm gonna still level it to level 10. Brehaven says, what's exactly contemplating that if it was worth to have in co-launch, have right now in boot letter 4 out of 5, boot seeker 10, energizer 5 and 6 in dance of death. Yeah, that's just a matter of personal choice. You have to figure out what you like more. You like more damage to your vent skill, you like more cooldown, you like more points into your relic ultimate like dance of death. You want more energizer, or do you want things like bloodletter and rupture? Because rupture is pretty strong on builds with high fire rate, like rapid fire, rapid strike, cyclone mode. Those things are very good for bloodletter. But if you're not using cyclone mode as often, or rapid fire or rapid strike, then it's not that great. Although with the steam powered uppercut the way it is right now, with multiple hits being able to proc, with multiple fists showing up from the ground on big bosses, this could still be good with bloodletter. Got them. You see those blood seekers there? Just chilling, standing in one place. In fact, if you don't like Dance of Death, you can just use the Echoes of Life staff. And the Echoes of Life staff is basically an extra life. If you die, it can resurrect you if it's active at the time when you die. It summons an alpaca. And if the alpaca is up and you die, the alpaca sacrifices its own life to save you. I also mainly go Cyclone. I personally prefer Cyclone to Rapid Strike myself.
You can't do that
I'm not a fan of how they nerfed its speed. I'm a fan of the old Cyclone mode where it wasn't this slow. See, this is how Cyclone mode kind of gets glitched right now, which is fast. But this is the regular Cyclone mode speed, which is the slow one. The fast speed, the glitch is from my arc-powered shoulders. And that's where the glitch comes from. When you see my Cyclone mode quick, I don't know how to replicate it. I've tried multiple times to replicate it, and I just can't. But somehow something makes it go quick whenever I use charge up. But the thing is, I've tried using charge up and then spinning, and it doesn't work. I've tried spinning and then using charge up when I'm spinning, still doesn't work. So how the hell do I make it go quick? It's beyond me right now. But yeah, I've gotten a glitch where you go under the boss and you don't hit them. But I've gotten a glitch where I'm under the boss and I actually hit them. And they hit me. So I don't think I've gotten the one where I can't hit. Just the one where I can hit. And that normally used to happen when using blinks. Such as Shadow Step and Ghost Visage. That's normally when that would happen. Okay, Act 3 done.
Inventory is full. You can't do that.
I make no promises.
Let's see, here. I got a new Mountain King Cuirass, which I'm gonna equip. Losing some servo damage, some uppercut damage, but I need the defenses.
It's a grab bag.
Oh wow, okay.
Good luck out there. So you buy in or what? See ya.
I need a better helmet.
It's a grab bag.
If only I could get the Mountain King helmet, it would have been amazing.
Thanks for the gold. I make no promises.
I need more Mountain King pieces. I really need Mountain King pieces.
You pay up front. No refunds.
Let's do this. I'm gonna go and put some stuff in my storage for my forged.
Can't cast that.
For my next forged, I'm gonna level up eventually. But first, we need to talk to the general.
Your pet is hurt.
My pet is hurt? How? It's in the town.
Level up. Not only Imperial subjects, but innocent souls all over Novastrea. I'm proud to know you, recruit. We all are.
Oh, you just saw me in the game? Alright, so that was you. Pierce Leviathan is back. He says, I don't work with corpos, Struck. You don't work with corpos. Pretty nice. Oh, you've got some interesting... is that helmet? A skittering helmet. Damn, that looks amazing. Is that a new one? I've never seen this helmet you've got. Maybe they just redesigned it, the skittering helmet. that's one of the best. See, the old skittering helmet was the one I'm wearing. That's what the set one used to look like. I guess they've redesigned certain things. I'm gonna go to my fort now. And it's time for the Fazir. I'm gonna save my mapwork scrolls for when I'm making the build video to run those as benchmarks, but for now it's Fazir. You got it last night. Is it the legendary skittering set helmet that looks like this, or is it some sort of a blue one? I'm wondering. And that reminds me, I need to put a style station. All right, that's that. So what am I putting? First of all, I've got Mountain King pieces. Level 12, level 25. Let's put those together. Living Barrier, Shotgun Blast. I could probably put those together. I can put this one here and this one here. And I can put this one here. Okay, next, it's time for the Fazir.
Back already? Oh, that's interesting. That one?
Let's do that one. Pierce says, Struck, are you going to check Diablo Immortal? I mean, I want to check it just so I can say whether it's bad or good after checking it. Because if I say Diablo Immortal sucks without checking it, my argument is invalid. If I've said it sucks without playing it, then I'm just guessing, and that's just not the right way to do things. If it's buy to play, I won't check it. If it's free to play, I will check it. I won't spend money on it for sure. If it's buy to play, but that doesn't mean I can't check it with the cracked APK. so there's that as an option. I just wanna stream it with an emulator and tell people, hey, this game is actually bad, or hey, this game is actually not bad. I want to be able to give people my own honest opinion instead of just jumping on the bandwagon of hating mobile games because they're mobile. I mean, yeah, I haven't found a single mobile ARPG that I like playing that doesn't have shit tons of pay to win, or isn't weird in regards to controls and systems to do and whoops to do. But you never know. I will be testing Torchlight, Infinite, Diablo Immortal, and Warhammer Odyssey. Those 3 mobile games I wanna test because people on my channel might be wondering whether those games are worth installing on their phones. But in general, mobile games is not something you would see on my channel. That's probably the only 3 games I would make an exception for, apart from my brother's game. When he finishes his game, I'm definitely gonna stream his game and give him some exposure on YouTube and Twitch. But yeah, so far those are the only 3 other mobile games I'm planning on showcasing and testing. Gumchi is back. Welcome back, James. Welcome back. Keep moving here. You saw my response in Discord and came to say hi. Yeah, welcome back. Again, keep in mind, I'm very slow sometimes with responding in Discord because I can either be offline or be editing or be streaming. If I'm live, definitely the best place to find me is on my stream and to talk to me. But I always try to respond. Whenever someone writes me in Discord, sooner or later I would reply. Alright, nice. Gumchi says, I have to say I really enjoy my fresh new start in Fallout 76. I've never played Fallout 76. In fact, I don't think I've ever played a Fallout game. I've only watched people play them. Because I don't think it's my kind of game. But I'm not saying it's a bad game. In fact, I know it's an amazing game. Just for people who like the genre. But isn't Fallout 76 a BR? What makes Fallout 76 different than all the other BRs out there? What would make people choose it over any other BR game out there? Other than it has the name Fallout attached to it. Oh, it's the world, okay. There's another game that you guys might want to check. Let me check the name. I got an email today about this game. I want to check what the name of the game was. Something for... okay, I need to start my other browser. It's in my other email. And I watched some gameplay video of that game. Back for What? Back for What? Let me give you the link of the stream. Just a moment. It's a stream that
Now,
was yesterday.
I know after watching all this intense gameplay, everyone is
So this is the link. If you like shooters and co-op, that's a game everyone might like. If you want co-op water shooters, like Left 4 Dead, for example, you might like this one. Obviously, go back to the beginning or whatever they start the gameplay, and there's some commentary of the devs afterwards, and there's some people playing as well. There's some things you can see there. Alright, let's... what was I gonna do? Oh yeah, I needed to give some stuff to my pet. Oh, this is extra defense. I'd rather take the extra defense. Anything else I can equip here?
Your pet has returned.
See, this one is nice for builds that don't use the relic ultimate. In fact, I might consider sometimes making a build like this, especially for casting speed builds on mages. That 25% casting speed would be pretty decent. I'm probably gonna try and find something with more defense, but rapid bartering. Oh yeah, I'm gonna put that one. It's too early for now to worry too much about items, so let's just keep pushing the Fuzzier. You're saying the only thing that makes you want to not come back to Torchlight is the relic gate. Well, this is a very silly reason, because you have so many different build diversities and varieties, and yeah, you may not have the same hero on different relics, but you can always level up another hero. That's like 10-12 hours to beat the story at best, to level up another hero with a new relic of the same type. And you have 13 character slots, and believe me, in many other games they do it like that, where you can't change your subclass. So I don't see why this is any different. In fact, many other games don't even have subclasses. Wolsen doesn't have a subclass. Path of Exile doesn't have a subclass. Diablo doesn't have a subclass. Grim Dawn does, but in Grim Dawn you can never respec it. And in Grim Dawn you need to be level 10 to get your subclass. And in Titan Quest. Whereas here you get your subclass at level 1, which is pretty decent. I think this is actually a kind of a silly reason not to want to return to the game. It's become much better than before. And yeah, I was not a fan of this permanent change, and I was always saying don't make it permanent, allow us to change it. But it does give the quest some identity. It gives you some identity by choosing that relic and sticking to it. And I'm not a fan of having to level up and do the story on a new quest myself, but I've learned to kind of accept it for what it is, as a sub-quest system. Because the way they reworked it, those relics now are so fun to play compared to before. Before it was super boring. Every relic before was pretty boring compared to what you can get now from each of them. And some of the builds you can make where you're focusing more on the relic rather than the quest are also very fun. In Wolsen you only need one character, but you have to grind shit tons more if you want to respec effectively, and you have to level up every single skill. Having to level up every single skill, it's super grindy. If I want to test a new skill and compare it to my current skill, I have to first level that skill to level 90 to compare it with my with my other level 90 skill. And Wolsen is just grindy. That's in a nutshell. Wolsen is just grindy. That's my main reason why I don't wanna play it. Torchlight 3 gives me much more freedom than Wolsen, even with the restricted subclass. Even with that, I feel like Wolsen is much more restrictive than Torchlight. Because first, reaching max level is hard. In that game, it's super slow to reach max level in Wolsen. You have to grind levels for every skill you wanna use, so you can't just respec from one skill to the other. You have to actually level it up. And yeah, you only level it up once, but that's 40 skills that you have to level up, and it's super grindy to level up all those different skills. The end game is also pretty boring, but the end game in this game is also boring. So that's one thing those games have in common. End game system with a little bit of power creep in it, and just basically rifting. Well, starting over with the same class is actually nice because you can use gear from your other classes. As you said, you don't need to play it because you have some items that you can use on this class. But it's not exactly the same because there's so many things that are different between one forged build and another forged build. Like you can make a ranged forged build with one relic and then make a melee forged build with another relic, and you could use probably only one or two skills. For example, the only thing in common might be using ramming robot, power projection and sonic pulse, and the rest would be something completely different, and it would be in its core a completely different build. And yeah, it takes a while to level up a new hero, 10-12 hours, but 10-12 hours is not that much if it brings you very close to max level, and then you probably need another 4-5 hours to reach max level. I mean, if someone is quick, probably within 15 hours they can reach max level, from level 1 to level 60. And when you think of it, in Wolsen, that's not gonna get me anywhere near max level, spending this much time. So there's that. In fact, Torchlight 3 is one of the games that you can reach max level much quicker than other games. Probably Chaosbane is quicker, and in Chaosbane you have power level, where people can take you to high level monsters on high level maps and just boost you. Whereas in this game you can still get boosted, but it's probably still gonna take like a few hours. And you're still gonna have to complete the story to unlock your end game. So the better way of boosting in this game is to just complete the story for the others. To just help them while they're doing their story, and to give them waypoints so they can do the story quicker. But again, it's just a matter of personal choice. Some people love Wilson. I'm severely disappointed from it, and that's from a person who has been supporting Wilson for a very long time and wanted it to be something I can enjoy. And I waited, 10 months. I gave them 10 months, waited patiently until they released that butt trail update. But there isn't anything really special about that update. About Wilson's update, not about Torchlight's update. Whereas with Torchlight, there's been 2 months since the game launched. 2 months. And for those 2 months, they already gave us 2 major patches. And I'm not saying it doesn't have bugs and it doesn't have broken things. It has, believe me, it has a bunch of things still broken. But they've been adding a lot of new things and they've been at it pretty hard when it comes to post-launch improvements. So there are dungeon checkpoints. They've added a tutorial about those. You said it's quite a difference on which level you choose to level on easy or insane. Well, there are new maps. There is a secret level. I can't reveal the secret level. I can't reveal it. But there is a secret level hidden in the game in Torchlight 3. That is a new map with new enemies, with new bosses, with a new vendor and a new currency. And keep in mind, Wilson for 10 months didn't add a new endgame activity. Torchlight for 2 months already added one. 2 months. It took them 2 months to add a new endgame activity. Which again, I can't reveal it because we promised not to reveal it because we were given access to information that normally people have to find themselves, like how to activate it, how to reach it. New act. I'd rather not see new act. New acts would make leveling up even slower. I'd rather see new content for the end game. New act is fine. New act should come with an expansion. Keep in mind, how long did it take Diablo 2 to give you a new act? How long did it take Grim Dawn to give you a new act? And then the other new act. New act is not something to expect within 2 months. An act means new enemies. New enemies means new voiceovers or sound effects. It means new animations, new rigging of those animations. It would mean new set items for that act and things like that. New act is a big project. You can't expect a new act 2 months after a game launched. 10 months after a game launched, sure. A year after a game launched, sure. But 2 months is kind of... It's unreasonable to expect a new act 2 months after a game launched. See, Path of Exile do add new acts, but how long did it take them between those new acts when they were adding them? And again, Grim Dawn and Diablo, you may say Blizzard is not an example, but Diablo 2, when it first came out, yeah, it was supported by Blizzard and it still took them long. And Grim Dawn were not Blizzard, so they're a perfect example of an indie studio. Path of Exile, another example of an indie studio that doesn't just add a new act every 2 months. At least Path of Exile, before they became big, definitely didn't add its first new act 2 months after launching. A year is reasonable. To expect in between acts, new acts. But again, adding a new act would mean it takes longer to level up a hero. But if the new act takes us to level 60, okay, that's fine. Or if it takes us to level 55 from 45, that's fine. That's reasonable. then it's gonna be fine. But I'd rather see a survival mode or a payload mode, something that's completely different than the Fuzzier. Something where, let's say I'm in the Fuzzier now and I press F10. Pressing F10 hides the HUD. I want people to know that I'm doing different type of content when I hide my HUD. Let's say I record myself playing without the HUD on the Fuzzier, and then in the new type of activity, I want people to say, hey, those are completely different. For example, if you take Fuzzier and Mapworks, and if you press F10, people would not know that you're doing a different type of content. If you do it like this, if you play like that, they're not gonna know what type of content I'm playing. Because there's not that much of a difference other than those affixes here in the challenge levels between the Fuzzier and the Mapworks. I've not seen the new endgame type, the secret level. I've not seen it because I just want to see it for the first time when I'm streaming. So I'm gonna have to wait for people to discover it, make it public, so that it would be fair game for me to stream myself doing it. But yeah, I want new types of content where if I press F10, I would know it's not the Fuzzier just from a glance. But again, I'm not expecting this until middle of next year. I think it's reasonable middle of next year, summer next year, to expect new type of endgame activities. For a team with the size of Extra, which is not that big of a team, they're not a huge developer studio, so it's reasonable to expect them to take like 8 months or 10 months before they give us another new endgame activity. Hey, they do know that we want endgame additions. They've said it, that they know about this, and I like that we have Note in Torchlight 3 where they can track what we want. Snow and Steam gift? What? Are we getting new bundles every day? New bundles every day? Let's see what I got. Sammy's Stocking Stuffers. Sammy's Stocking Stuffers. It gave me Skittering Chestplate and what? And Legendary Mapworks bag. Okay. Skittering Chestplate. Alright, I should save this for level 60. I shouldn't have opened this it this early. Because that's like the old Legendary Gear bundles. You played every game Max made. I guess it's a matter of personal choice. I still prefer Torchlight 3 more than Torchlight 2 Vanilla. I'm not talking about Torchlight 2 with mods or Torchlight 1 with mods. Just the vanilla versions. That's fair to compare the games to their vanilla versions. I still like a lot of things how they were done in Torchlight 3 compared to 2 and 1. The skill system in Torchlight 3 is much better than 1 and 2 in my opinion, but that's just me. You might like the skill systems in other games more. I like the enchanting in Torchlight 3 a little better than Torchlight 2, but it still feels incomplete. The enchanting system, I think it needs Diablo 3 style rerolling and some other things, like maybe being able to add sockets to items and things like this. We need to be able to min-max our items more instead of leaving it all to drop RNG. We need some enchanting RNG, not just the sockets affixes, but to make sockets, to remove sockets and things like that. Although who would want to remove a socket? That's kind of useless. But yeah, we need to be able to add sockets and we need to be able to reroll the middle affixes on an item. But I agree that the story and the world in Torchlight 2 felt a little bit more distinct. It felt like a world. It feels so. Oh, see, Torchlight 3 feels like a puzzle, like puzzle pieces. Um, it feels like separate things that have been just combined together, and I think that's as a result of the old Torchlight Frontier system, where they had the acts being frontiers and each frontier being its own thing. And I think that's why maybe the world doesn't feel like a real world, like a distinct world to some people in this game. It feels a bit disjointed. But I still like it. I've just learned to. I don't really care about story. I'm the type of person that would play a game with zero story and end game only. I give 0% interest in story in games. I don't play games for story. Unless they're games like Cyberpunk, The Witcher, Mass Effect, what else? Dragon Age, things like those games that are story-driven games. But Wooter games, I play for the end game. I play for the things that happen after the story. In fact, in games like those, I like being able to make a character that skips the story. But that's just the type of person, the type of player I am when I play those types of games, when I play Wooters. I know some people care about story, and that's fine, but you're not gonna find some epic story like WoW in Torchlight 3. Because it's just a different type of game. It's more about the humor. Torchlight 2 had a little bit better story. Actually, not a little bit. It had a better story than Torchlight 3 for sure. And I'm actually getting used to the zones in Torchlight 3 compared to the zones in Diablo 1, 2 and in Torchlight 1 and 2. Some people are saying those zones here are very straightforward, and they're not like a big massive zone where you can run and explore certain things in certain dungeons. But I kind of like the design here. I kind of grew accustomed to it. At first it felt weird how these game zones are designed compared to, for example, Diablo 2, where you have one zone with different dungeons, and you go into the dungeon, clear the enemies, exit, you're back in zone A, then there's another dungeon, then you're back in zone A. This kind of felt interesting back then in Diablo. But again, it's all about personal preference regarding certain things like that. That's not what I really care about. As I said, I care about itemization and endgame the most in games like those, because that's what keeps games like those alive. What the itemization is, what the build diversity is, and what the endgame activities are. Back in the day, we didn't care about endgame, honestly. When we were playing Diablo 2, even though it didn't have much endgame other than repeating bosses and secret cow level and eventually Uber bosses and things like that, we still redid a single boss over and over and over. We would still fight Diablo or Andariel or Bao or Duriel over and over and over, trying to get that one item we wanted, or do the cow level multiple times over and over again. But the market is different now. It's much more different now. But the dungeon raid type from old school MMOs were super time consuming. You go into a raid and it takes you 1 hour or 2 hours to complete it, and for what? For one item that you have to decide who from the whole party gets that item. Because the wood is not instanced and not everyone gets their own wood. That's what I didn't like in the old school MMOs. You fight a boss, and if it drops an item, which is in many cases it was a big if, you have to decide who gets that item, and you had to stay on a waiting list for the guild who is next in line to get items. I know, because I was a guild leader and I had to decide which member gets the next drop from that boss that we used to camp we used to camp several bosses and we had timers and all of that. And I had to be the one that decides who gets which item based on their contribution. And that was not fun. Knowing that we get a boss and sometimes it's not gonna drop anything and sometimes it will drop and then I have to decide who gets the item. it was the hard part of leading guilds and stuff like that. And I had people who would be camping as much as they're online. They would seriously want that one item from that one boss. They would be camping a lot and helping. And it felt bad when those people didn't get the items they wanted, and and I had to give it to someone else because it was not for their class, even though they were camping more than others. Wildstar was a different animal. Wildstar, I really feel bad for Wildstar failing because it was very fun to play it. It had its downsides, but it was overall a very fun game. And I wish Wildstar actually became a big title and more popular than it was. And the PvP was very fun. I never liked Secret World. Honestly, I never could stand the way Secret World ran on my machine, and the animations and the combat felt super broken to me. Especially the combat. If I don't like the combat, I just can't. It's like tasting a candy and not liking the taste. And I mean, yeah, it's a candy, but not for my taste. But yeah, normally in a game, if I can tell in the first few minutes after seeing the combat system if a game is for me or not, just based on the combat alone. Because combat is probably one of the most important things to keep me playing the game. It's like shoes, putting on some shoes that just don't fit. I mean, sure, you can still walk, but it's not gonna be pleasant. Alright, I need to send my pet to... I need to send my pet to buy me potions. It was not just the top target. The top target is fine. The top target part of the system was fine, but the animation was super clunky and super unresponsive. That's what I didn't like about it. And I've played the closed beta, the open beta, if it was an open beta, maybe it was closed beta too. And then I've played the final release version. And then I actually gave it a try when it went free to play as well. And I still kept believing that maybe this time it's gonna feel better. And eventually I stopped returning to it because I guess some things in its core they never would change. But yeah, I've tested so many MMOs from the old ones. Especially the Asians. The Asian MMOs, I've tested probably most of them. Between 2005-6 to 2014, let's say, and 15 things that came out and were there. And some of them I really did enjoy, but then the end game felt kind of boring. But keep in mind, when I was playing MMOs, I was a PvP freak and I hated PvE. Right now I'm completely the opposite. Right now I hate PvP unless it's like an arena shooter or something like a MOBA game where everyone starts on equal footing, where items that you drop from PvE don't affect the PvP. And I love PvE now. I just love PvE and making builds and farming wood. back in the day I hated grinding for wood, and I just lived to PvP. That's all I did all day. I did rifting on Ion, ganking people with a 3-man squad going in the Helios zone, for example, or I did ganking in Lineage 2 and PvP and Olympiad and things like that. I also loved Guild Wars PvP, but weirdly enough in Guild Wars 2 I really love the PvE and the PvP, but there are other things I didn't really like in Guild Wars 2, which was how grindy certain things were. But Guild Wars 1 had amazing PvP with the Guild Wars system. It was pretty fun. It was definitely pretty fun, and the regular random PvP arenas, the pucks were also pretty fun in Guild Wars 1. But in Guild Wars 1 I didn't like the PvE farming part of the game. That's what I didn't like then. I'm wondering how New World would be if I end up testing New World, if they do send me a copy from the creator program I registered. I really am looking forward to testing New World, honestly. I've watched other people play it and it looks very similar to Elder Scrolls Online and Guild Wars 2 in regards to combat and PvP, but definitely a little bit better than either of those two games. And even the mages seem very fun. You got every single item in Guild Wars 1. Well, that's nice. From gear to all the skills. You spent a lot of time playing Guild Wars 1, I guess. I wasn't that much of a fanatic, but I do have all the Guild Wars 1 games, and I did enjoy playing them. I mostly played Warrior Elementalist on my first playthrough, because back in the day I liked Warriors when I was a kid. I mean, I started playing Guild Wars 1 when I was 13 or 14, if I remember correctly, when the game came out. So back then I wanted a warrior with AoEs, but eventually as I grew up I started liking mages, and eventually I always made a mage as my first playthrough, as my main. Now I love them all. Now I don't have mains. Now in the game I just play every single class eventually. Normally I would still probably start with a mage, depending on the game. Because I just like glass cannon nukers. Oh, this quest, the broken quest, Spider's Man. The Spider's Man quest that they mentioned in the patch notes is having a chance to get broken on Twitch, not on Twitch, on Switch. I guess it can be broken on PC as well. Because that's that specific quest. Now we have to redo it. So avoid spiders, I guess. The Fazir's Dungeon is still super broken in regards to quests and not being able to complete it. I think I've encountered 3 or 4 different ones that can be completed in the test server. So they still have to tweak them. I think the best thing they can do for now is temporarily make it require only 1 item drop. Or maybe just change all of them to kill quests until they can fix them to drop all the stuff they need to. No.
See ya.
you like to play the hero in those types of games. It was very weird because whenever I had guilds, we always had some super good healers, and we always had some super good female healers as well. And most of the females used to be healers. I'm not saying it's a stereotype, but I'm just giving you statistics from my personal experience. Like probably 50% of the healers were females, and probably 80% of the females were healers. Something like that as their mains. We did have one very good healer back in the day in our guild from Colombia, who was very good. And we did have one guy from Korea who was a healer slash buffer, who was not the main healer, but the buffer kind of, who has healing, but is not main healer. This guy was so good at the PvP. He was just doing some super good combos, and he was getting information from the Korean versions of the game that were much further in the patches, and constantly reading about mechanics, rotations, and things like that. And that guy, he could just 1v3 easily, and when he takes you and another person and it's like 3v5, 3v6, 3v7, he can keep you alive even on non-main healer. He can keep the enemies stun-locked and at the same time do decent damage. I mean, one of the best supports I had. That was in Ion. The guy was playing a chanter. And for example, it would be me on a mage, then it would be my friend on a gladiator, on AoE warrior, and then this guy on the chanter. And just the three of us could just destroy when it was more than a full party sometimes. because of this guy. I mean, if it was just me and my friend without the healer, at best we could do 2v4, maybe 2v5, depending if we focus targets or not. But with this guy, with the stun walks and the little bit of healing he can do, I mean, he was probably one of the best healers in games I've seen, as a non-cleric, but rather a chanter. But the chanter was super broken class back then, if played right. Let's see. Let's see over here. What's my level 48? And those are level 50 enemies. Okay, that's fair enough. They're not too high level for me. Probably gonna spend some more time in this map getting XP rather than rushing. Ah, invulnerable zombie. Alright. Any more enemies here? But yeah, this Seeker's uppercut build is pretty fun. Can't wait to test it with proper max level gear on Ridiculous to see how it performs. How much more is left for the quest? Oh, just the granny. Alright, let's go kill grandma. Granny spit whistle. So is she whistling while she's spitting, or is she spitting while she's whistling? That's the question. How does one whistle while they spit, or spit while they whistle? Let's try and find her. Level 49, alright. We're gonna get Bloodletter now and Rupture. Okay. The XP is pretty decent for now from this map, because there was just so many things to do on that map. Mountain King Wheel, finally a higher level version of that one. Not bad. Not bad. Been waiting for one to drop since level 22. Gobbo guards with damage to Vortex Bomb and extra defense. Pretty decent. New weapon. That new weapon would be nice. Just need a Meteor Spectacle even dropped. Probably gonna need a peace break in a bit. Cause it's what it's been a while since I started streaming. Oh, not that much, only hour and 52 minutes. I just sent the pet to sell some items first. So this pistol, oh, I should have equipped that pistol instead of the other weapon. I still want to get a helmet. I want to get a Mountain King helmet. Hopefully it drops. Alright, I need like 60 seconds or 90 seconds. Alright, I'm back. Thanks for waiting. Now let's keep pushing the Fazier. What have you got, Fazier? Show us. Dividing gear Wookie. Come on. This is gonna be some good drop map. If it's dividing and gear Wookie, two of the best farming mods you can get on a map. And for XP, dividing is pretty good as well, not just for farming. In fact, I'd much rather do dividing maps than Gauntlet. If I had a chain of dividing maps one after the other, it would be better because you're still farming while leveling up. Obviously, Gauntlet is the endless XP map. But with dividing, you're getting splitting mobs, dividing mobs, which should be better XP per meter on the map, per square meter on the map. XP per mileage. Let's get up here and get them to spawn. Let's go down here as well. Look at the XP growing and growing. I'm assuming resurrected goblins don't give XP. So many of them. that was so many goblins. I just love dividing goblin maps. Almost 50. Had to stop it. It needs to stop to do Sonic pose, and now we're back to slow mode. I wonder how much XP I would have gotten from this map altogether if I clear everything. I will try to clear the map fully instead of rushing it. Thankfully I've got rapid bartering on my pet. Let's go send it to the town. Oh, look at that. Ancient Ember Shoulders. Nice. Nice. I think that's the first Ancient Ember piece I'm unlocking on the live server. Before this patch, I got 0 Ancient Ember between Gear and Goblins and the Snow and Steam update. So this is my first Ancient Ember drop on the live server. So at least seeing an improvement there, finally getting a piece of the set. I wonder if I can get the boots. I don't need the boots for this build. Although maybe for extra seekers it won't be bad. Wait, what's here? Oh, it's the cow drone and a cage. Winner, winner, goblin dinner. Let's get those. Mark power threats, okay. Definitely seeing the variety of the drops being improved. Yeah, this map to legendaries so far, but it is a gear wacky map, so that's kind of to be expected. I want Winter Weave drops. I really want Winter Weave items to start dropping. More about the Winter Weave now. Just really loving the potential a triple Winter Weave, triple Mountain King setup provides. Is equipped. Okay. Well, look at that. I'm almost one quarter into the next level, and I'm still not done with this map completely. Let's go find those goblin dinners. I think they're probably nearby here. See, that's where one of the goblin dinners was, here. So probably if we go up, we would be able to see the other ones. Or would we? There isn't one here. They are normally pretty close to each other. Unless something changed. Yeah, they're not here. Let's go the other way then. I'll use the movement speed boost. Not here. Okay, here's one.
Cast that spell here.
Actually, I took this one already. Just one goblin dinner. Come on, where are you hiding? It would have been nice if they shouted like "Help! Save me!" Blah blah blah. Actually, I would love it if it said blah blah blah. Would it be nice to hear it so you can't miss the dude? There's some voiceovers from those goblin dinners. Okay.
You can't carry anymore.
So yeah, this gave us a lot of XP. This map, like more than a full level worth of XP. Maybe I can rush the next one. It depends on the map type. But it was a dividing gear wookie. I wanted to clear it fully. If it was some boring map like Angered Ancestors, for example, I probably wouldn't have cleared it fully. And just forced myself to do the main objectives. Oh, and I started getting recipes. Not a fan of those. If only I could filter those out, the ones I've already learned. Oh, and I've got skill points.
Your pet has arrived.
Wait. I'm missing something. This is level 60, but it's 5000. Should I keep it? This is 34. This is 59. Right, I'm just saving some gear for Wobies for when I'm leveling them. Shock bolt damage builds. That would be interesting. 50% more shock bolt damage builds. There's ways to build around this item. That skittering chest plate, I want to find it someplace. Okay, enough of this. Let's keep moving. Oh, a boss fight. Let's do the spider. I'm gonna hydrate quickly. Wait, let's get the shrine. I think I've already got one of those. Let's put it in the storage and I can clear them out now. Trying to make room for new pets. I still haven't gotten the reindeer. I've got all sorts of things. I've got the new ferret. I've got the new owl. I've got the new cat. I've got the new doggo. Not the reindeer. This one is the same as this one, right? Blue wings, and this is blue wings. So this one is red wings, this one is blue wings. Okay, they do seem a little bit different. Bald eagle and another bald eagle. Okay, I think I've cleared out most of the repeats. This one, white wolf, and this one is white wolf as well. Okay, let's get rid of one of them. And I've got a lot of repeats of those, the ones that you get for free, but they're probably used on my heroes right now. Jolly ferret, and then I've got a second jolly ferret here. Let's take the next one. Infamous. That's dividing. Let's do dividing. I'm not farming fame yet. Fame and infamous would be when I switch to ridiculous at level 60. For now, I'd rather farm some gear to unlock them for the legendarium. Although infamous is good for gear farming, I still think dividing is probably better. I mean, if I get dividing and infamous, sure, even better. Dividing is definitely good for the XP though. It's nice that they've added more variety to the maps, adding concrete plains and the machine works in that one other zone. If only there weren't those automatons. They're very bad for your map density when you get automatons as the major enemy type. They should start spawning more of those at once. What's this shrine? If only it was movement speed would have been better. I want to clear this map completely for the XP, so I'm gonna go to every dead end I can. Like here. Find the Ember Tower, kill the tower sentry. That's a quest I've never seen, even on the test server. Okay, by the way, what was I using here? A helmet. Yeah, I really want to find that helmet. Okay. Can we get 52 in this map, I'm wondering, before it's finished? Wow, already doing 400k damage on normal. So 30% of this would be the damage to bosses. No, on ridiculous. And I can't wait to gear it up fully to see the damage I can achieve with steam powered uppercut. It's probably gonna be close to the DPS of pressure shot, but pressure shot is definitely much more spammy. Mountain King gauntlets. Fierce Leviathan says, I think I'm finished with MMO, struck to grind some same content every day is driving. Oh yeah, although I can't say we don't do the same thing with ARPGs, but at least we're not doing daily quests. We are not forced to be walking zombies like MMOs force us to be walking in every day to do daily quests, and they're boring, they're grindy, they're just not fun. They're for people who have too much free time on their hands, and that's who MMOs are for, with daily quests. Most MMOs, I can't put every single MMO under the same hood because, well, they're just different. Some of them are just too different. I'm gonna lose defense, but a little bit more evasion and duration to sonic pulse and power projection. That's good. Definitely faster paced, although I can't say there aren't MMOs that are just as fast paced as ARPGs. In fact, most MMOs are ARPGs. Guild Wars is an ARPG MMO, in a way. Terra is a MMO ARPG with its combat system. It's not your standard MMO RPG. And the same, I think, goes for Blade and Soul as well. I mean, they're MMOs, but they're also ARPGs as well. So, isometric hack and slash is not the only thing that I put under the category as ARPG. For example, The Witcher is also an ARPG. Kingdoms of Amalur were also a type of ARPG, Two Worlds. But I definitely prefer isometric wooters to MMOs myself as well. I mean, if I didn't, I would be playing MMOs. If I didn't, there are many I could be playing right now, and neither of those I actually would enjoy playing. Whereas with ARPGs, I could enjoy playing this. I could enjoy playing Last Epoch. Right now, I could enjoy playing games like Chronicon, like Chaos Bane. There are options there and that I can enjoy. There's also options that I can't enjoy, such as, well, Wilson. I mean, I'm not saying I can't enjoy Wilson, but the things I don't enjoy would be more than the things I do when I play it. Because it just feels super grindy. It feels as grindy as an MMO. Maybe grindier than some MMOs. That's why I like Torchlight 3. It values my time. It rewards me for my time. Yeah, there are bugs and things that still need to be flattened out, ironed out, and fixed. But I think I'm getting a sufficient amount of rewards. The only thing I think Torchlight 3 really is missing in regards to itemization would be rerolling affix system and adding socket system. And then I would feel that it really values my time the way it should as a player. With so much build diversity, it's just silly not to have ways to min-max your gear other than praying to RNGesus to drop you a min-maxed item. This makes sense to limit the way people can min-max their gear. Makes sense in games that don't have much build diversity to prolong the duration it takes someone to max out a hero if they don't have many more options. But if you have more than 200 different options to explore as builds, you definitely would want to be able to max out one build quicker before you can move on to the other, not spend a whole year maxing out one build before you move to the next. Because there are just so much things to try, so much things to experience in this game in regards to builds, to combinations. see. Come on. For example, let's take the Forged. Right now, on Forged, if you don't consider the relic differences, you have 4 major versions of builds. Actually, let's say 5 with the basic attack. So you have... let's put it that way. You have... it's not actually 4, it's more than 4. It's 4 times 4. So you can do pressure shot and rapid fire. Pressure shot and shotgun. Rapid fire and critical mass. Shotgun and critical mass. Then rapid fire and fracking. Shotgun and fracking. Rapid fire and steam powered, shotgun and steam powered, and then rapid strike and this, rapid strike and that, cyclone and this, cyclone and that, cyclone and this, cyclone and that, rapid fire strike and this, rapid strike and that. And then on top of that, you further delve into the venting skill. Do you use coal launch or do you use vortex bomb, which multiplies those choices by 2? So let's say there's 1, 2, 3, 4 steam building skills, with the basic attack being 5. And those 5 you multiply by 4 because you decide what builds the heat. That's 20. And then that you multiply by 2, that's 40. 40 different setups based on what you use to build heat, what you use to spend heat, and what you use to spend steam. And that's not counting the relics. That 40 multiplied by 5, the number of relics. You see where I'm getting? This is just so much variety now, the way they rework the forged. Distinctly different things. Yeah, they would look similar, like... they would look similar, but yeah. Mike Sal's Papuero says, min-maxing your gear doesn't matter when Fazir gear is straight up overpowered. Yes, but Fazir is not gonna be the only end game eventually, and Fazir gear, it is overpowered, obviously, but I think that's a bad move. Making that power creep was a very bad move. I think the power creep shouldn't be tied to your gear, it should be buff. It should be an affix, such as Harvest, Waki, Berserking, Dividing, that grows as you grow. In fact, it should be. I think it should be handled like the Legendarium. Give us like 10 slots and let us unlock different items, not items, but different runes, glyphs, tarot cards. In fact, last night, I wrote an idea to the devs to change it to tarot cards. So as you're finishing Fazir challenges and bosses at level 3, at level 7, at level 11, each time you complete one of those, you unlock a tarot card. And you have 10 slots for tarot cards. And you have different tarot cards for physical damage, for ice damage, for crit damage, for crit chance, for HP, for movement speed, for relic energy cost reduction. And you have 10 slots. And from those 10 slots, for example, you have 1 major slot, and 3 medium slots, and the rest are minor slots. And let's say once you start doing the Fazir dungeon that gives you 2 affixes, you start getting tarot cards that give you bonuses to 2 stats. Then when you start doing Fazir dungeons that give you 3 affixes on the Fazir enemies, then you start getting tarot cards with 3 affixes. In the 1 major slot you can put 1 card that gives you 3 stats. or one card that gives you 2 stats, or one card that gives you 1 stat. Then on the 3 medium slots, you can put tarot cards that give you 2 stats, or tarot cards that give you 1 stat. And on the basic slots, you can put only tarot cards that give you 1 stat increase. That's just an example. It could be runes, it could be glyphs, it could be gems, it could be trinkets. Just an inventory like the Legendarium, where you slot certain things and you make some sort of a build that synergizes with your actual build. And that would be much better than the stupid, boring power creep system tied to items. And that solves a lot of problems they are having right now with this power creep being overpowered. Because it doesn't have to be 10 slots, it could be 5 slots. It could be 1, 2 and 3. 3 minor, 2 medium and 1 major. And see, unlocking different ones, fixed ones, for example at level 4, at level 3 actually you always unlock that specific tarot card. At level 7 that specific tarot card, and so on. Yeah, I understand how it could be silly. Obviously it would be silly with that power creep. I had concerns when they said they're gonna be making power creep, even before it made its way to the test server. I had those concerns and I told them that it may not work well. And if there is power creep, it should remain in the Fazir, which it does right now. It remains inside the Fazir, but it's straight up overpowered. Yeah, it's making things trivial probably. That's why I think a system like that, where you have a limited number of things you can put in some slots, and not making them super overpowered, would fit better. So just have X number of slots, and in those number of slots, just as you progress the Fazir, you get items, whatever you want to call them, that you put in those slots. And this being only for the Fazir, I think it would be so much better as a system. And tarot cards really fit the whole Fazir aesthetics. You know, cards, slots. So like Legendarium, but just for the Fazir. And in fact, people would even make, when I make builds, I would actually tell people, yeah, if you wanna be doing Fazir, use those cards and those cards and those cards for this build, and things like that. I mean, right now, obviously, this system is super strong, and they're actually thinking of removing the flat damage bonuses from items. And if that really is true, this is the worst they can do. It's much better to just reconsider the whole power creep system rather than removing the flat damage from items. Because then it's gonna be shit tons of bullet sponges and things like that, and it's just gonna take longer to do stuff. They won't be able to kill you, but it would be taking you forever to kill them too. I accidentally entered here, I didn't want to enter. It should ask us before entering a portal if you want to enter that one portal. This is another thing I keep forgetting to suggest as a quality of life change. To prevent accidental enters of those portals. Do I have the red Chakawari? I don't remember. But yeah, power creep in general is a very dangerous thing to add in your game, and if not done right, things become super overpowered, other things become super underpowered, and in general it just becomes super imbalanced when you have power creep one way or another, and it just ruins a lot of the things in a game, especially when you tie it to gear drops. if it's not tied to gear drops, maybe it would be easier to control it and to contain it and to make sure it's not overpowered. But the way it's done here, it's tied to gear drops, and obviously now they're gonna be dealing with a lot of unnecessary balancing tweaks that they could have avoided if they just went for a different way of handling power creep and motivating people to push in the Fazir. In fact, I feel much less motivated now knowing that such a power creep system exists. I feel much less motivated to push the Fazir. And what happens when you add new endgame activities? What would make you wanna not use your Fazir gear on the other activities, even if the bonus from the Fazir gear is WOST and it's balanced? You still might have different items that are better than the ones you have with better stats on them, that may not be strong in the Fazir, but at least are stronger in the other activity. They can easily remove it now. It doesn't have to be full wipe. Why full wipe? They can just remove that extra affix from every single item that has it. Because, for example, see, they already changed things like the hand cannon. It no longer drops with crit chance built in, but people still have items with crit chance hand cannon. But they can just as easily remove that percent damage and percent defense on items while inside the Fazir. They can just remove that whole system. Because the items' regular stats are not changing. The only thing that can be removed is the extra bonus damage and defense that items get while inside and outside the Fazir. So that's actually pretty easy to remove compared to some other things. If they just have to remove the whole system for the power creep. Definitely not something that would require a full wipe. But I gave them my concerns before they added that system. Many people loved it because, well, they love being overpowered. And I can't blame them for wanting to be overpowered. But that's just not the right way to think in games like this. Probably from all 15 or 16, 17 people of us in that closed group that gets to see previews of the updates, I won't be surprised if I was the only person that didn't like the power creep as an idea. Probably the way they showed us that it's tied to items. But well, it's already here, and now my will to do Fazir is even less. I have even less motivation to do the Fazir, and I just can't wait for them to add another type of content that doesn't have power creep attached to it. Anchored Infamous. But yeah, there's definitely ways of getting players to be stronger without making them overpowered. And there's definitely ways to balance certain things. Maybe they didn't get enough feedback regarding this power creep during the test realm phase. Those past 2 weeks where people could test it on the test server. Probably people didn't want to admit it's too overpowered. I don't know, I don't think it's a good way to remove the flat damage affixes and call it, yeah, it's good, it's gonna be balanced. They can just as easily make this power creep system not affect stats like flat defense and flat damage. um, or just reduce it by 10 fold. So if something gave you 1%, to make it give you 0.1% increase, but it's still gonna be super strong. I also would rather have min-maxing. I've been asking for item rerolling system for a long time. Diablo 3 style rerolling of the affixes. This is all this game needs right now in terms of itemization. A system that allows us to add sockets to our items, and a system that allows us to change the middle affixes. Middle affixes means things like the bleeding, the knockback, the basic attack, and the electric damage. Those things there. And that's what we need to be able to change. And to be able to add sockets. This would be so much better in regards to min-maxing, getting shit legendaries and salvaging them for essence, and then using all that essence to reroll. We are swarming with essence. Look at my stats here. I've got 453 legendary essence. And not much to do with it. Not much to do with that essence. And then 1100 green and 600 blue. There's not much to do with those. But if we had a system where we could use them, I mean, I have a ticket in Note. If you look up in Note Transmog and Transforge, you would see what I mean. Similar to Diablo 3 and similar to Chronicon, something like that. Yeah, you've got 800, which is pretty nice. That's pretty nice number, and not much to do. I'm assuming you're barely using those, even if you have 800, and those would keep growing and growing and growing and growing, and there's not much to do. Let me try and pull up the Note ticket. This is the Note ticket of the idea I had. I mean, it could be definitely a game designer can take this idea and make it much better than the simple way I put it. But there's 3 different things I suggested. I didn't even suggest the adding of sockets there, but that could also definitely be something nice to be able to add sockets. I just suggested to be able to take one item and transforge it into another item. For example, you take one shield that's legendary and you sacrifice it to get another shield. This is not necessary. This we could do without. If it requires a lot of development, just ignore this. But the major idea is the reforging, or whatever it's called, the one where you can change this health to poison damage, or where I can change the fire defense to poison defense, or on this shield the chance to block I can change maybe to defense if I don't need it, or here the fire defense I can change to poison, and things like that. I think probably 90-95% of the player base would love a system like this, and it would make it worth it farming that one extra Sneku stick and that one extra Stormblade that you don't need. You can turn it into essence and just use that essence to reroll your other items that you need. It would make unnecessary legendary items still something to get excited about. Right now I can get excited when I get a Sneku stick and a Stormblade if I already have a ton of legendary essence and not much to do with it. Yeah, probably in the first few levels when you would need that legendary essence to start rerolling your gear, but eventually as it starts building up, as you start farming contract levels, you kind of see how boring it is to get things that completely useless to you.
You can't cast that here. You can't use that skill.
But yeah, stat rerolling, min-maxing, that's what I like doing in the end game. I love min-maxing my builds in the end game, and I love being able to min-max a build and then move on to the next one. Whereas the devs 2-3 weeks ago in one of the Mayhem Mondays, they said they want us to never be able to min-max a build. That's what they said, and I was really concerned when I heard this. To never be able to min-max a build, to be endless hunt for that perfect item. That's not how it's supposed to be in a game with this much build diversity. If you have this much build diversity, you should be able to test all the different builds one way or another. Min-maxed rather than relying on RNGs to drop you that one item with those 3 affixes you want on it. Yeah, deeper crafting customization system, and we've got all those resources that we're not using. So it needs a system to sync essences somewhere, other than just rerolling the socket roll. The enchanting system did get improved a couple of times since alpha, but it still has a long way to go. It has a good base. I like the base where they give us the option to farm recipes to unlock certain things. But again, I think my suggestions are pretty legit in regards to wanting a way to reroll. The middle affixes, as I like to call them. And a way to add sockets. But even if we don't have a way to add sockets, we can still try and find a socketed version of that one item and just reroll its affixes. Finding a socketed item of a certain type, it's much easier than finding one with 3 or 4 affixes of the ones you want. Mountain King Wheel. This one's nice. Extra physical damage, built-in defense, crit chance. It's only missing a socket here. And instead of percent physical, I would have liked flat, but that's fine. Ventco launch. I'll drop it in 6 levels. Yeah. If I get something better. I mean, in most of my builds at level 60, I've been still using level 40 something items when I made the build videos, because I just couldn't get higher level versions of those items. And I was running with like 20, 25, 30,000 defense, which is basically paper thin defense. Potion work, this still exists. 147, really? Only 147? This is gotta be joking with me. Okay, 211, not so bad. Still 10 times less than the elemental one. Wait, what level is my hatch? 53, and for 53 I was still getting this.
Your pet has arrived.
Basic attack damage, did they fix those? Did someone test if basic attack damage affixes have been fixed? Because only the ones that specified the weapon were working before. Let me check, have I got basic attack damage on an item? This one, 70.9 basic attack damage. Let's test my basic attack quickly. With and without it. Actually, I can test it here. This says 90% weapon damage. Without it, it's still 90%. So it doesn't work. I can tell just by looking at the skill that it doesn't work. Let me check with something else. What else gives me basic attack damage? I want a weapon with basic attack damage. They probably still haven't fixed it. This one, no, this says pistol basic attacks. This actually works when it specifies the type of weapon. Guess I'm gonna have to wait. Yeah, it was broken. It was broken. So when it says damage to basic attack and not damage to basic attack with pistol, with greatsword, etc., it doesn't work. Basically, what you need to see is you need to see this percent weapon damage here increasing. If it doesn't increase, then it's not gonna, then it's not working. So there's even it's pointless for me to test it on the dummy. 3,550. And I'm probably gonna do the same damage now. 3,550, and this supposedly gives me 70.9% bonus damage to basic attacks. Even though it's a cannon, the basic attack still is getting boosted from the cannon. I've tested it, and cannons that give you a relic energy cost, or whatever it's called, and relic energy generation, those do get buffed from a cannon. Even on a melee build where you're not using cannon skills, you can still benefit from a cannon. Now, even if it's level 1 cannon and gives you relic energy cost, it's still useful to you. For example, this unstable wararm on a melee build, full melee, where you're not doing chest gun damage, even level 1 unstable wararm or level 2 unstable wararm is still good enough for you, especially if it gives you some stats and that boost relic energy cost or relic energy generation, or basic attack damage. Something that's just general. Crit chance, crit damage, flat damage, chance to bleed, chance to stun, chance to knock back. Those things would apply on hits with the cannon, with the chest gun. But basic attack damage and other utility things, they would apply regardless whether you're doing chest damage or not. That's why on melee builds, picking a cannon, it's not that difficult. It can be low level, it can be high level. You just need certain things that actually benefit the melee build. But basic attack builds with the Forged would be amazing, because this thing, Sonic Pulse Tier 3, the patch notes confirmed Sonic Pulse Tier 3 boosts basic attack, Steam boosted basic attacks. You know, Steam makes your basic attacks do 250% weapon damage while Steam is here. And that by itself makes probably Forged one of the best heroes to try and make a basic attack build with. And I can't wait to make Electrode basic attack build, Forged build, where I'm using my Steam only for basic attacks. But I still think it won't be just as strong as Steam. See, Pressure Shot and Critical Mass and Steam Powered Uppercut and Fracking Strike would always be stronger and better options than basic attack builds on the Forged. They would always be stronger options. If it's melee basic attack, it does a cone-shaped AoE. If it's with a pistol or a rifle, it just does a boosted projectile. So it's just not gonna be that strong. It's much better if you just use one of those other Steam spenders. But it is there as an option. If someone wants a fun basic attack build, it is there, and it can do some interesting amounts of damage. I'm not saying amazing, I'm saying interesting, because it's better than before, but still not nowhere near as good as the actual Steam spending skills. But if you stack basic attack bonus damages on your items, at best you can see your basic attack doing 9,700 weapon damage. Maybe you can push it up to 1,000 weapon damage per basic attack when you stack Sonic Pulse and you stack bonuses and you stack the Steam. Maybe, but you're gonna have to really push it with the items. Whereas with Pressure Shot, you can get like 2000 without even pushing too much percent weapon damage per hit, and it's piercing and it's ranged. You're saying someone out there in the dev team has big dreams for basic attack builds. Maybe. I know I have. I'm really wishing that eventually basic attack builds would be much more viable. I've done basic attack builds, and I will do another basic attack build with this hero as well, just so I can show people how they can make it with a certain relic, with a certain class. If they like it, if they want to do it. I personally don't care about end game in this game. I don't care about the Fazir because I don't like it in general. I don't like it as a system. So I don't care if a build can do max level Fazir or not when I make the builds, but some people would care about this, and basic attack builds would not be the ones I would really suggest. Although the sharpshooter electrode build I tested was pretty nice, because it was not relying on the basic attacks for damage, it was relying on the basic attacks to proc things. So it was stacking attack speed, and multiple attacks per second means multiple lightning strikes per second, and that's where it was getting its damage. On top of that, you have the basic attack procs from the shocking force, or whatever it was called, that proc skill on the electrode. Those proc skills do add a little bit of extra DPS. But yeah, I think with the forged, when I do my next forge, it would be electrode, and I will try a basic attack shocking force setup where the basic attack is the only heat spender, steam spender, not heat spender, steam spender. I've got a point into this. Why do I have a point into this? Probably helmet. No, not the helmet. The weapon? Oh yeah, the weapon. And someone earlier asked, is the game worth it? Well, Triple Tari Gaming, if you're still there, there is no easy yes or no answer to this game, because different people have different ideas of what's worth it and what's not worth it. So it's much better if you just tell me what you're looking for in a game. See, this game doesn't have much end game. If you're the type of person who wants to play one build for months without switching to another and just constantly farm it, that's probably not the game for you yet. But if you are the person who doesn't do much, he doesn't play one build for too long and wants to constantly switch builds and just grind different setups and theory craft, this game can offer you a ton of variety of builds to try out with classes, subclasses, itemization changes, legendarium changes. You can modify builds in a big way or in a small way and still have something different. So if you like me, don't spend more than a few days or a week playing a single build before you move to the next one, before you test something else. You would really enjoy that game. Even if you spend 2-3 weeks per hero before you move to your next one, you can still have a lot of fun. Probably pushing the Fazir all the way to like to a certain level and then stopping there and moving on to the next hero. But the Fazir's dungeon is very boring and it's only one type of end game, so it gets very repetitive very quickly. It really needs more variety in regards to activities to do once you beat the story. This is one of the biggest problems in this game right now. The lack of things to do after you beat the story other than Fazir. But the game launched 2 months ago, so it's still too early to expect a new endgame activity. We do have a secret level, I can't reveal it, I can't reveal how you get to it and what's inside it. But we do know there's a new trader, a new vendor, and we do know there's a new boss, new enemies, and new resources that you get. And then this vendor sells you things for those resources. But people just need to figure out how to do it, how to reach that secret level, secret area, as it's called in the patch notes. But I still don't count this as an actual endgame activity. Yes, it is an actual endgame activity, but it's hidden behind a secret. So not everyone would know it until someone makes the information public. I can't wait. I can't wait for a player to figure out how to reach that special zone so I can make some content showcasing this special zone and the guides how to reach it and things like that. I mean, I can play it. If I stop streaming, I can go and do this mode, but I don't want to. I don't want to because I want the first time I'm entering this zone to stream myself do it, so people can see my reaction. So it's a genuine reaction, but we'll see. Hopefully sooner rather than later people figure out how to enter it, how to summon it. Someone yesterday on my stream was very eager to try and find it, to try and figure out how to reach that special new zone. But yeah, the game definitely has a lot of freedom regarding some things. For example, I really like how the game is not forcing me to put points into skills I don't need. I don't have to put points into rapid fire to put points into coal launch. I don't have to put points into either of those 6 skills to unlock this one. I just need to be level 20 to unlock this one. And even if I have 0 points into barrage, I can start putting points into critical mass, for example. And I love this. Back in the day, you had to put points into rapid fire to unlock those things, and you had to put points into those here to unlock this one, and so on. The same was for the relics. You had to put points into the first. It was actually vertically. You had to put points into the ones here to unlock the ones here, to unlock the ones here, to unlock the ones here, and so on. Which is outdated, restrictive, and just not fun. And the way they did the skill system with the 4th version, I think right now I think we're version number 4 or 5 of the skill system since the alpha. So they kept changing based on player feedback, and I really like this skill system in this game. It gives me a lot of freedom. It may not be like Chaos Bane, where you just drag and drop the skills into the slots and can freely respec without any cost. So it's not like that, it's not like Diablo or like Wolsen. There is still some amount of farming respectacles to be able to respect certain things, but at least there's also that freedom of only leveling the skills you need. Not like Grim Dawn, Titan Quest or Diablo 2, where you have to put points into one skill to unlock another. And other games, that's just 3 games to mention with the outdated old system. But yeah, I'd rather answer questions instead of tell people straight up worth it or not worth it. Because for me it's worth it, but for others, obviously for others it's not. Because they're playing different games. In fact, this is probably the game I've played the most in the past couple of years. Even if I count more than couple years, even if I count games I've played before this game launched, I don't think I spent more time playing any other game than this one, since it's alpha. NM says he watched two ads before the video. Well, dude, that's too much. That's gotta be too much. I only have pre-roll ads and mid-roll ads. I don't have post-roll ads. But you can skip the ads. They're skippable. And you can also have ad blocker. We content creators have to make money. I definitely don't do post-roll ads when I upload build videos on YouTube. I don't want people to watch ads after the video, because I personally don't like watching ads after a video. I like when I finish watching a video, for example when I'm watching Linus Tech Tips or Gamers Nexus or Jay's 2 cents for hardware news, I like once a video ends to immediately switch to a new video. And then maybe the new video would have ads and I could skip them, but I like that that surfing to keep it going. I personally don't mind pre-roll ads and mid-roll ads. Yeah. Yeah, dude, they are watching me play this game, and this is the game I've spent probably, let's not say 2000 hours, but I'm getting there. In the alpha, before the game went into beta, I had more than 1000 hours. That's before the game went into beta. Then it went into beta, then it went into early access, and now it's 2 months after the launch. Since it went into early access on Steam, the amount of time I've spent playing and streaming and making content in this game is, let me check it. Library, Torchlight 3, 925 hours. Okay, so I actually already have 2000 hours, because I've got 1000 in the Perfect World launcher, Arc launcher, when it was in alpha. Over 1000 just from streaming and gameplay videos and builds, excluding offline stuff. So yeah, I've played this game more than Grim Dawn already, and Grim Dawn was my most played game. Yeah, I think I've now reached a point where I've spent more time in this game than Grim Dawn. Oh, Brefwaben says he got Frostau. Congrats on getting Frostau. Enjoy it. Let's get that shrine. By the way, if there's anyone who doesn't have the game yet, around Christmas let's say Christmas Day, Christmas Eve and Boxing Day, the 24th, the 25th and the 26th, I will be streaming Torchlight 3 and you might be able to win a copy of the game, a Steam key of the game. So if anyone wants to participate and needs the game and can't afford it, there will be 3 different days with a key given away each day. The developers gave me 3 keys to give away during the holidays yesterday. So I will be streaming on the 24th, 25th and 26th. And each day there will be a separate giveaway that people can join on Gleam. On Gleam. It would be open to both Twitch and YouTube entries. So yeah, if there's people out there who want the game and can't afford it or don't want to buy it yet until maybe more content gets released, well, you can win it and maybe still enjoy it. I really appreciate when Extra Game gives me keys. They've given me a few keys since the game launched and we've made some people happy, let's put it that way. It feels good to make people happy with giveaways, to give back to the community. Wait, what's happening? Secret fishing hole? Secret fishing hole? Oh, I see. I missed it. I missed the secret fishing hole. Ah, it's this way. Shit. There we go. And yeah, too much if you're still there. You're watching me on YouTube, but I also stream on Twitch. And on Twitch I can actually control the ads and run them when I want to, which is pretty nice. I love that Twitch allows me to only run ads when I go to the toilet, for example, when I go to feed my pet, or just when I'm taking a break. I really love how Twitch gives me the opportunity when streaming, for example, not for view-on-demand content, to just run ads only when I'm taking a break, so people don't miss any content, don't miss any of the action or anything like that. And when I run ads for the next 30 minutes, every pre-roll ad is disabled on Twitch. In general, Twitch does a lot of things a little bit better. Amazon does things better than Google in some ways. For example, when it comes to payments, Twitch pays you directly to PayPal, whereas with YouTube, the money first needs to go to your AdSense, and then from AdSense it needs to go to a bank account. They won't accept PayPal there. You have to give them an actual bank account. Shit. Was my gun. Was my gun. Thankfully I have a spare gun. Thankfully I have a spare gun. I couldn't dodge, my skill was in cooldown. We've got a spare gun saved up, so it's all good. It may not be as good as the old pistol. Oh, actually I was fighting enemies much higher level than me. I was fighting level 57 enemies and I'm level 53. So they were dropping me potions I can't use. See, that's thing a thing I reported. I don't think this needs to even be a thing in the game. Potions that are too high level from yours and you can't use them. This is BS. I've reported it. Hopefully it gets fixed soon. Because, I mean, if you're fighting an enemy, if he drops you a potion, you should be able to use that potion. I mean, I understand items that actually have item level attached to them. To not be able to use those items, that's understandable. But when it comes to potions, it's a little bit too much. Let's send the pet to the town. And I actually have to... I'm gonna do a different map. Let's socket my weapon first.
Your pet has returned.
Okay. Now, double here. Okay, Nimble Gear Wookie. Let's do Nimble Gear Wookie. Sky, where are you, Sky? Sky is asking for food. I've got half an hour more before it's time to give him medicine, and I can give him food there. Mike so says, is uppercut better than fracking strike? Well, it's not better. It can be spammier. You can spam uppercut more than fracking strike. Especially if you put it to not have a cooldown. Right now I'm using the servo blade, which makes it with a 4-second cooldown, and it makes it be more than a single target skill. It gives it an AoE, cascading AoE, but it also increases the damage. So if you don't use the servo blade, you can be more spammy with it, and keep it as a single target stuff. But the thing is, it's a little bit broken because the cooldown is 4 seconds, but this cooldown should be reduced by 10% to 3.6 seconds from fracking strike tier 2. And right now it's not getting reduced, so I'm gonna make a ticket for this. I never played with uppercut because that's my first build with uppercut. I've been avoiding this skill. And now that they reworked the Forged, I decided to actually start playing with that skill to just test it. I just wanted to finally make a build with uppercut. Normally I like Drain, but this is the first time I'm playing Blood Drinker without putting Drain be my main skill. You can see how uppercut is cascading. I'm gonna use it now. Well, actually it became invisible. But yeah, you can see it. Boom, boom, boom. Cascading. Whereas if I remove the servo blade and just put... let's just put something, whatever. Just for a moment. You can see how it works now. See, it's more of a single target and I can spam it more. So it's gonna do less damage, it's gonna cost less hit, but it's something you can do multiple times. So it's a matter of choice. I personally prefer fracking strike, and I also prefer pressure shot and critical mass. I'd rather have one of those three instead of the steam powered uppercut, but I want to test it. I want to make a build with it. Min-max it as much as I can in the next day or two when I'm farming items for it. There you go. What's my quest here? Kill goblins, find the goblin gun forge. Okay. Alright, there we go. Bit left of this map. Actually, not a bit. I'm actually only at 64% goblin skilled. Let's try and group up a big train of mobs. Fracking definitely is cooler. To those who are wondering what fracking is, let's show you. This is fracking strike. Definitely looks cooler. Okay, let's switch back to the uppercut. Spike drive used to work like this. You see the 8 projectiles and the 8 directions that fracking strike does. The old spike drive, if you've watched my old spike driver build, the 1.0 version, the old Trailmaster spike drive was exactly like this. 8 directions around you, that's where the spikes went. Then they changed it to, instead of 8, be like 4 or 5 or whatever spikes in front of you in a conical kind of direction, which I think was better. For the Railmaster, for spike drive, it was better to focus the damage in one place, not spread it around you. But for fracking strike, I like it better the new way rather than the old way. So right now, fracking strike is a mixture of the old spike drive and the old fracking strike. It's the old fracking strike with the property of the old spike drive. I mean, the Unreal Engine allows easily to change certain things. To just apply one property on the blueprint of one skill, to take the property of one skill and to apply it to another one, and to create something nice and weird. Let's try and not get killed by the boss siege this time. This is a double HP boss, so it's gonna take a little bit more to kill it. And my defense is super bad, 37, 55, 46, so the 37 is what's applied to fire. Oh no, 40 is my fire. 40. And with the buff it's 43. Oh, servo blade. That's actually a good find. Might equip it. Oh, this is strong. Oh, this I can wear. Oh, this one is better. Now, if the servo blade is 4,000 or something, 3.8 thousand, and it's not gonna be as good. Because if I socket this one and then wife bind it, it's gonna be much stronger. And I like this one. So we're getting a 5.5k item now as defense. Once I enchant it, it should give me 5.5k damage, not defense damage. Come on, come on. .4, okay, pretty close to 5.5, but there's chance to burn, which is pretty decent. This is gonna be my spare in case I die. I'm actually gonna equip this, because that's a lot of defense. Where did I put? Let's see if there's anything else I can wear that's worth it. Like this shield. Not as much defense. Let's just go.
You're up to the challenge? Your pet has returned.
Let's go for Plague Bearer. I want to fight the sea monster. I want game content, end game content where you're fighting on a ship, fending off sea monsters that are coming on the ship for like 5 minutes. Then after those 5 minutes you reach a checkpoint where you fight the sea monster from the ship with cannons and with ranged attacks. And then you stun the monster with the cannon and then can attack it with melee attacks for a few seconds. I've talked multiple times, probably 5-6 times already in my stream about my idea about a sea monster raid endgame with 2 phases. Phase 1 defend on the ship while you're reaching the monster, and phase 2 fighting that sea monster. And we don't have such endgame activities in any other game out there. We have in Guild Wars 2 an airship battle with one of the dragons, where you're fighting the dragon on the airship, but that's an MMO. It's not hack and slash isometric water game, so it's a different type of story there. But it would be cool. It would be cool. It would be unique to have a naval fight where someone is controlling the ship, avoiding attacks from the monster. Another one is controlling the cannon, maybe, and the others are just shooting spells and things, or maybe using cannons as well until the monster is stunned, and you can attack it up close with both melee and ranged skills. My poison defense, I think, is pretty bad right now. It's 38%, equal to my physical. Those poison spiders are one of the most overpowered enemies in the game. And the thing that's overpowered is the thing that the hazard. The hazard that they put on the ground, the little poison field that they put on the ground. Let's see. This. Okay, let's do this stun. And wow, 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 almost died there. So much plague bearer bows. So many plague bearer bows. Right, let's go this way. What's the quest here? To find the Ember Tower and kill the towers. Fuck. Something that I didn't see. It's getting tough to survive against enemies 4 levels higher than me. 5 levels higher than me. When my gear is over 10 levels lower than me sometimes. Yeah, poison bots, Vultura grenades, poison spiders, fire spiders, anything that makes a hazard on the ground is annoying. In fact, the Vultura grenades are not that annoying unless they're spamming it, unless there's a lot of Vultura that are dying and spawning grenades. But poison and fire spiders and mechanical spiders with their fields on the ground, those fields, those hazards, that's what does a ton of damage. They do just a lot of damage very quickly, and if you're not quick with the dodging, you get wrecked. And if you're doing the Fazir before the changes with the power creep, that would mostly one-shot you within like less than a second before you can even press the button on the high stages. They did nerf it a little, maybe not enough though, with those hazards. But now with the power creep, things should be much easier once you get power creep gear. Alright, let's see what's here. Okay, good. Come on, come on. I wonder where this Ember Tower would be. In fact, I need to send my pet to buy me potions very soon. Let's send him before I run out of potions. Thankfully I've got rapid bartering, so it only takes him a few seconds to go and buy pots. Those exploding balls, man, almost got me. I still got potions I can't use, taking up space. Quest could be bugged just so... I'm not sure, I think I completed it earlier on this one same quest. I think I completed the same quest earlier with the sentry tower. I'm not sure where I found it, but I did find it somewhere. It's fine, I don't need to rush that mission, because I'm already fighting content 5 levels higher than me. So I already shouldn't be here in the first place with my shitty crappy gear. That's not... only my weapon and some pieces of equipment are up to speed with the content. At least my weapon is up to speed, which is very important for now. I can try and survive somehow thanks to my healing from the relic, from the subclass. Right, there we go. Come on, come on. Am I gonna get 55 before I stop streaming today? I'm definitely getting 60 tomorrow, because my stream's stopping very soon, like 12 minutes more or so until I need to feed my pet and give him medicine. So the question is, can I get all that XP I need in those 12 minutes? Probably if I start a different map that's a little bit lower level, so I can kill stuff quicker and get XP quicker, I could get it. But that's fine, that's fine. Even if I were level 60, I still won't be ready to make a build until I have items that I'm happy with. Blitzcrank. The forged, yeah, the forged is It's pretty fun. They just recently reworked this class. This one was the weakest class in the game, and it was kind of boring to play. But now they've reworked some of his skills. They reworked his mechanic. So now instead of just building heat, you also get steam when you vent your heat, and then with that steam there are certain skills that cost steam. Before it was just build heat, vent the heat, build heat, vent the heat. And now some of the heat builders have become steam spenders. And that's nice, that's pretty interesting, and while you have steam you move faster, your basic attacks do more damage, so I'm not using basic attacks, but I will probably make a build with basic attacks. First I'm gonna make this build with the uppercut, the Bloodseeker's uppercut, then I'm gonna make build with drain, and with fracking strike, which would be 2.0 rework update of my punch bot drain a lot build. So the punch bot drain a lot would be reworked next, and after that I'm gonna try a basic attack build with a nice sword. I'm gonna need a good sword though.
You can't use that skill.
We gotta kill Fragmaster 2000. Okay. Is that the little brother of Fragmaster 3000? What's happening? Oh yeah, I need to be here to get it to trigger. So that's a 59 enemy. Oh, 58 enemy, okay. Well, he's a bit spammy with the Plague Bearer, to put it mildly. Those dirty bows of his with the poison. There we go. Let's see here. Chest gun, no. Jack blade. I don't think this can become strong. I've got level 60 items I can equip for weapon and offhand, but I don't have forged armor, because that's the first forged I'm leveling since the game launched on the live server, not on the test server. I was waiting for the forged to work before I can start. I don't need this pet, I already have it. So 1023, I can probably do one more map if it's a quick one, we'll see, for extra XP. 7 minutes. Come on, vote. See, this game, if you play it on single player offline, that loading screen is 1 or 2 seconds if it's installed on a SSD. So their netcode has some problems where one server communicates with another, communicates with third. I think they call it the zone controller, which is spinning up the zones and things like that. And those they really need to optimize those loading screens. And how their netcode handles the loading. Because I'm definitely not the only one that has been complaining from those. Alright, so Which one should I do? Should I just not do double HP and just go back to one of those? That should still give me XP. It should still give me XP and it should probably be a quick map. Double HP is just gonna take too long. I have like 5 minutes left or so. So let's see if I can rush this map in 5 minutes. Probably not, because it's a kill quest. But I'm still gonna get some XP in those 5 minutes. At least we got 55 just now, so there's that. Alright, 47% complete this map. Well, quicker than I expected, which is nice. There we go. Does this fracking strike look like a dude is popping from the ground? Not the fracking strike, the what's it called, the steam powered uppercut. It's too quick and you can't see that it's a fist unless you look closely. There we go. 91%. All right, a few more high vid. Let's get them here. And this map's done. Nice. That was a very quick map. Took me, what, 3 minutes to finish. I still have to kill the boss. But yeah, that was a quick one. And I'm fighting level 55 at level 55. Although I started at 54. Let's see. Where's this boss? Come on, boss. Show yourself. Wrecked. And that's gonna be it, Struck Pup, for today. I need to go feed my pet, feed myself as well, and give my pet some medicine. So thanks for joining, for tuning in on YouTube and Twitch. Until next time, keep it cool and goodbye from me.